So we are live on all fronts. Again, breathing. Today must be a breathing day. Every day is a breathing day. And so, first thing we do before I do anything is just breathe. Uh, Breathe and then get, myself calm. Of course, I don't try to stop my brain from thinking because it doesn't happen for me. But yeah, today is Are We in a Simulation? And hey, Dean. Hey, Terry. Um, Today's, simulation. What a word. Matrix, simulation. We hear all kinds of crazy things. The earth is flat. I think you think the earth is flat, you need to get out of your neighborhood. Go travel the world. Mm. Find that edge. I dare you. Leave your house. Okay. But that's part of the problem, simulation, all. Interesting thing though about simulation is, and another name for that is the matrix, right? That's how I got my pen name, I call it, or my stage name that I use for work and for writing is Solana, right? So a lot of people know me by Solana. It's my professional name. It's what I use in my profession. Anyway, I got that. Back in 1999, right after I got a divorce, and I was introduced to the movie The Matrix. Who's seen it? Have y'all seen the movie The Matrix? Who hasn't seen it? That's, I guess, a better question. Matrix 1, 2, 3. But anyway, there was a site. Of course, it was 1996. So not a lot of people had computers, but yeah, I was fortunate enough to have a computer in 1996. And on the MSM site, there was a matrix site that you could go in and put your name in, and it will, spit out your Zion name. If you had escaped the matrix and made it to Zion, then they give you your new name. The site's not there anymore. I don't even know. Everybody asks me all the time, is it still there? But anyway, so the name that came out when I put Sherry, Sherry's my birth name. It was Solana. And so I'm like, I'm using that. I like that name. And so I started using it. Um, and so anyway, it's been a simulation type of conversation ever since then, though. I mean, how many of you talk about the Matrix and being in a simulation? And is this world real, or is it, Memorex? And I just got to say, if this is someone else's reality, boy, she you so messed up. But anyway, there are certain things though that are like a simulation. Hey, Jeremy. Um, if you're always playing video games, you're in a simulation. You can actually now go to places that do simulations, and have the big games and the new virtual 3D goggles that you can wear for games. That puts you right there in your face in a simulation. Uh, hey, Maria, I know you're in a simulation every day. You're an attorney. You got other people's realities coming at you from all over the place. That's what I call a simulation. It's other people's reality that is a simulation in my world, because it's not my reality. And my reality certainly isn't theirs. Hello, I don't know if I'd wish my reality on anybody, to be honest with you. but but that's one of the interesting things about my name and how I got it. My Solana name. But anyway, I use it again, and I also go by Sherry, Reverend Sherry. I wear many hats, many hats, and I think it's important for us to wear many hats in this simulation, especially, because we have to, which we do anyway. It's like everybody talks about how, all the presidents lie. We all lie. Who who doesn't lie? I mean, I know I don't lie. I really don't lie. I try not to even be dishonest, but most of us tell those little white lies. We've told a lie in our lifetime. It is just we set other people up on this moral. thing but in the meantime, what's going on in our own world? What's really happening? That we have to sit here and just judge other people. To get off the computer, stop watching television, get outside, go do something, go do something. Hey, Candy. Um, that's what a lot of the stuff that I do in my life. I always get around to getting back to nature, getting back into basics. It's like I tell everybody, especially those that I work with, it's time to get back to the basics. How many years have we been saying it's time to get back to the basics? It's time. Who's in the basics? Nobody's in the basics. We're all caught up. We're all in what somebody else has put out. And what that to me is a simulation. That's a simulation. What somebody else put out on me that I have to tells me that I have to live it. I don't fit into anybody's mold. I will not, cannot. You're turning things off and writing cute animal cozy mysteries. Ah, there you go. You know, Whatever brings you some kind of joy and peace and happiness. I think that's the biggest thing that since we are really literally, it is not literally as in physically, this is a simulation, but most of us are on some kind of device, playing a game, watching television. Those things are simulations. I mean, when you're playing a game, I'm guilty. I play. When you're playing a game, you're in that simulation of that game, right? When you're watching a movie, you're in the simulation of that movie. When you're whatever, you're in someone else's and so digital on the phone. People are carrying around their phones all the time now. Not that they're on the phone all the time. They're looking at social media most of the time. It's like become another distraction, which is what they want. They want you to be distracted, distorted, and confused. Yes. Distracted, distorted, confused. Sound familiar? Sound like your life? Yeah, I know, right? Thumbs up. So when we're talking about simulations, then and then in those simulations, of course, we're living other lives. And I said lies. We're not lives. We're living other lives. Because we're so engrossed in it to the point where we argue with other people about it. I mean, you're in a chat room with a lot of people when you're playing these games, and you can get upset. You can get really. I've heard my grandchildren arguing into this headset that they're wearing. I'm like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be playing the game first of all, but you get so caught up in it, and and then you get off that game, and you try and go and play that in real life. Yeah, yeah. Good luck with that. Go play that in real life. No, no, no. No, no. So it's like good to kick the kids off. I'm glad I raised my kids before all that started happening. However, we were still talking about a simulated world back then. We were still talking about how we live in this matrix. And again, like I said, with my name Solana, I got it because I escaped the matrix. I really feel like I escaped the matrix. Um, and I just went into another simulation because then I go into somebody else's version of what I'm supposed to be doing, right? I go get two jobs so I can support my kids now because I'm a single mom, and I try and end up moving place to place, moving around, several times, and just trying to figure out, because I'm trying to fit myself in. And once I stopped and I removed myself again from that equation, it was amazing the miracles and wonders that started working in my life and how God really showed himself. And again, telling me anytime I go through anything, it's like, all right, watch. We're gonna fix this up here. We see where they're going. We see where they're trying to take you. So we're gonna fix it up here to where it turns out in your favor. It's gonna turn out in your favor. It always does. And again, once we start living like that, we remove ourselves from the simulation that other people are trying to create for us. When we start doing our own thing, like how many of you feel like you are gifted and talented, and you don't use that? You can't express that. It was actually pushed down. I was watching a really interesting video the other day about how children when they're younger, they're told to put that down, don't play with that, leave it alone. And then when they get into school and they're not as motivated, like how do I get them into science? What can I do? Well, you already blew it, when you're telling them to keep putting stuff down, stop playing with that. You take away their curiosity, and that's a part of being your true natured self. Is you're curious. We're very curious people, and so we learn, as we go, and we move that way from that young age. And we're supposed to have some, talents and some artistic ability that take we take, with us. But no, it gets squashed. The same thing with our spirituality and our religion and our tradition. It can all get squashed and be changed in an instant like that. So it's like, what are we really trying to do here? And again, I know a lot of us are going to sit here and say, well, we're trying to create our reality. We're trying to, well, good luck. I mean, I've been trying to create my reality here again since I was little. Seen all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't want to see that. That ain't real. I'm gonna try and create my reality. Mm-mm. It was still there. It was still there. And again, it wasn't that I was creating it as I saw it. I was becoming aware of it as it was making itself known. Again, they don't think you can see us. Half the time, people can't see the other side, the dark side. They don't want to see it, especially if they haven't experienced when they're younger. That's some real stuff. That's not simulated stuff. Those are real experiences that throw you into some kind of fear that you can't even, realize that, there's other things going on besides the physical, right? That spiritual, energetic world is there. And we got to remember that it's there and it's got an agenda too. It's got an agenda. So what are we going to do with it? Where are we going to place this? Once we realize that's right, this isn't a simulation. This is some real shit. Oh, sorry. Some real stuff going on. I got to bleep that. Bleep. I didn't get the bleeper. There's real stuff going on. And horrible stuff. But there's beautiful stuff going on too. There's blessings happening. There's miracles happening. They just don't get talked about as much because most people want to deny, dismiss, belittle. But again, that's part of the programming to go out of the norm, to take yourself out of the simulation, to take yourself out of the matrix. You're going against the norm. You're going against the norm. You're going to beat your head up against that wall. I don't know. I don't care how many times you're going to hit your head up against that wall. And then God's going to be there every time, though, that you realize you're hitting your head up against a wall to tell you, stop hitting your head up against a wall and look at things. No fear, no hesitation. Just look at it. Look at it. And then once you look at it, if it don't look good, if it don't feel right, then put it down. You don't have to pick it up. You don't have to own it. It's not yours. It's someone else's. It goes against our true nature self, and that's what we have to find in order to remove ourselves from the simulation and this matrix. Uh, the idea that someone else has implanted. Again, things are not just happening; they are planned. Done that too much, right? Now doing it your way. That's what we have to do. Because again, we're fighting. Every time that we go against our true natured self, we're fighting what we came here to do. Hello, how many other times can you imagine? Or do you even imagine? Like that song. I can only imagine what it would be like, right? Because in your physical body, you can't even imagine being a spirit body and being an energy body and or being another body. Unless you got some hormonal issues going on. Anyway, right? So you can't even imagine what it would be like on the other side because while we say, and again, I know I probably say it every day because I say it all the time, and I used it again this morning. But yeah, we are spiritual beings having a physical experience, and we keep forgetting that. We're forgetting that. That's right, because our eternal self doesn't need to come here to learn anything. We come here to experience. Hello. Tell everybody I came here to drink, smoke, have sex, eat. Ooh, yeah. We don't get to do that in other bodies. We don't get to do that in any other place right now. I mean, that's like this place here. That's why we're here. Why we're doing it here. We just forget. We get caught up in the distractions, the distortions, and the confusions that somebody else is perpetrating on us. My simulation is Arizona. Again, that's where I go. Mhm. So, and again, we're going to be here daily to let y'all know that we know what's going on. And I want you to know what's going on. I want you to step into your knowing. Because I tell you what, when you get on the phone, when we're talking one on one, and I know this because it happens all the time. Everybody sits there and and I say what a spirit has me say, and then they just go, "Okay, I know, I know." No, either they know or they don't know, and they just don't want to seem not knowledgeable on the subject. Mm. Either way, if you sit there and say you know, then why you shouldn't have to keep coming back for the same reasons. I don't mind. I get you pay me for my time. But at the same time, um, I want you to know, and I want you to get it. I want you to understand that there is so much going on around us. It ain't got nothing to do with us, other than they're trying to corral us into whatever simulation they want us to be in, whatever belief they want us to have. That's what's happening. History repeats itself, right? Over and over and over again. Lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, we can have the same memory and the same crap that we know what's happening. We know what's going on. And we still deny, right? I mean, it's just, mind boggling. Not mind boggling. At the same time, I understand. I get it. It's part of the programming. Ah! Defeat the programming. Hashtag save the children, save the world. That's where we need to be with things. So we have to look at, on the daily, what we're doing. Are we good people? Again, the golden rule: do no harm. And again, everyone has a different opinion about do no harm, what that means. Because I'm a smoker. I'll be a smoker. I came here to smoke and drink and have I don't although I don't drink a lot. But anyway, but it's there. It's available. I can do it if I want to. um, some people say that's harm, but no, I say that's getting me through. Tobacco is a natural sedative, so then anyway, yeah, I choose to do it. I've been doing it since I was little. Little. I started drinking before I started smoking, and I'm telling you, it was like 5, 6 years old. I knew what was coming. I knew what was coming. I knew what was coming. I knew what I was going to be going through. I knew the crap they were going to do to me and say to me and make me do, and I knew it was coming. And so, again, I believe that we come into a life knowing, everything. We know the temptations that are going to come. We know if we go down that road, what's going to happen. We know that if we go down that road, what's going to happen. All this stuff is laid out and planned. I mean, again, things aren't just happening, they are planned. Same thing goes over there. I mean, do any of you have any memories of other lifetimes? I know that there's a couple of psychics sitting in the room right now. Uh, do any of you have memories of past lives or of being in any kind of other body? Do you dream of being in different locations? Oh my gosh, my dreams take me to all kinds of places that I wish that I could express here because I mean, I just wave my hand, everything's clean. I'm not OCD, but I am a little. Um, oh, I just like things clean. I like it to smell good. So, anyway, any of you, want to speak up and say anything, but I know you have. I know you do. We've talked. So yeah, I mean, we all have those memories, and then yet here we are getting caught up in all this stuff again in this lifetime, right? Like, whoa, hello, that's right. Even if we live to be 150 years old, which please God, no, not unless things really change drastically. Do I want to live to be that old? But in any case, if we live to be 150 years old, are you going to have any, different thoughts about, what it is you've gone through? Are you gonna sit there and say, that's quick. That was fast. That happened in a blink of an eye. I know today, it's happening for me now. I mean, even this year when I turned 55, which, hell, forgot. One of my clients had to remind me how old I was turning. Yeah, I forgot because I don't keep track, because it's just time to me. Time is linear, time is not. Time is, I mean, I have memory of being in that, sentient being, that eternal being. I know that, yeah, the stuff we're going through here is some horrible stuff, and I believe that because we're sentient beings, we have the ability to change things, to make things different. We have to restore things in this life that unlike any other. Oh my God. Had I known what I was getting into, would I have done it again? I don't know. My sister and I look at each other all the time and like, what the hell were we thinking? Oops, sorry, I cussed again. What the heck are we thinking? But I have. I have to tell you, I have. Because from my childhood, I was born in 1963. So the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Uh, yeah, all that stuff, all the things that we've been through, was perpetrated on us by someone else. Perpetrated, infiltrated, manipulated, instigated, right? So, it's like we're still, okay, I'm still here, still going, still doing it, still talking about it though. That's one thing. We got to talk about it. People forget to talk about their experiences because they don't want to think about it. But if you think about all your experiences and everything you've been through, um, wow, right, right. I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone. That's why I keep doing these. I'm going to keep doing these videos because I know I'm not alone. You need to know you're not alone. If you're unable to answer any of these questions, you need to know. There's someone else's simulation. Another example I have of someone else's simulation is I'm an army brat, right? Hey, Kim, I'm an army brat. I was born in Germany, and then raised for the first 12 years of my life. Uh, and of course, that wasn't his only stay. My father had a 15-year stint in the army. He was a pilot. Uh, he was in the army. People were like, how can you be a pilot and be in the army? The army had Hueys. There's integration in the military that nobody even understands. That's why when I was raised up, my father's motto was we were all family. We're all brothers. Doesn't matter what color you are, doesn't matter what race you are. You're in the military, you're family. You're an American, you're family. Because that's who they were defending. That's who they were, that's who they thought that were defending. But anyway, my dad was a military pilot. He was an officer. After 15 years in the service, they gave him a dishonorable discharge. And because there's no telling, my father, I pulled his records. I had him sent to me. He has 21 counts of something all crossed off, blacked out, declassified, classified, top secret. So no telling what he did. So one of his stints though, in the military was in Fort Huachuca, Arizona. And at the time, I didn't know, of course, I was, 6, 7 years old. I didn't know it was a secret base. It was top secret base. Um, all the things that now you can look up about Fort Huachuca, I was blown away. I was told just, 4 or 5 years ago that it was a top secret base. I had no idea. But I met a man. God bless his soul. He's a vet. And but he served in Fort Huachuca, and he was there in 1974, 75. We left in 1972. But in any case, he's the one who told me it was a top secret base. So all the experiences that I had, and because that's when it all started for me on that base. Because again, my father was an officer, so we had officer housing. And so it was on the you know one side of the base was all the housing for the officers, and then further down was for the enlisted, and Of course, over on one other side was for the officers and the generals and what have you. And there was a few barracks on top. There was a few huge, strips, airstrips, and they had, you know, what's it called? Like big warehouses, where they kept their helicopters and other planes, and there was all kinds of military on that base. It wasn't just the army. There was influence Air Force. All of them were there probably. But in any case, now I find out that this place actually, in that time that I was there, was doing holographic microwave energy testing. Right? I mean, hello. What was the stuff I was seeing there? And again, I wrote for Bella Spree magazine. I'm writing a series of my paranormal life because the stuff that started the ball rolling for me. Fort Huachuca, Arizona, is where I started seeing spirit. I mean, because again, I saw my cousin there when he passed away. I saw my grandmother when she passed away. Those were the first two that I saw that were like family that I saw, that I know were family, right? But I saw all kinds of stuff. I mean, I saw all kinds of stuff out there. There was Indians, there was cowboys, there was dead people that was just tore up. There was people walking through my house, and yes, there was aliens. I saw aliens there. I saw UFOs there. My first UFO was coming out of a hangar. That's what they're called. Yeah, it's coming out of a hangar. Coming out of a hangar. And if you do your research on Fort Huachuca, you'll see that most of that base is actually underground. That's how top secret it was. It's underground. In fact, I venture to say most of our military bases have some type of underground facility, and I have been told that there is underground railway that gets these people back and forth, gets materials, equipment, all that back and forth underground. Okay, and so anyway, all of these things though could have been simulation, could have been holographic. They certainly seemed real. I mean, I literally saw the devil running around my house. And I mean the devil with the red skin, the horns, the tail, the hand, the hand. How many of you saw a hand just like come up your window? It'd just be this red hand that just with these nails. And I know I'm not the only one that experienced that. I've even talked to other people since then that that's one thing they all experience is a hand coming up. Or aliens. How many of you had abductions? I had abductions. I have memory of being pulled out the window. I had abductions. I mean, there was but I talked to good ones too. That's the cool thing about no matter what I talk about, and I know I've been going on for almost 30 minutes, and I don't have much longer. Keep looking at the clock. But, one thing I keep talking about is no matter what kind of negative stuff, demon, demonic, satanic, ritualistic, cannibalistic, pedophile, I mean, murdering. I have seen it all through doing readings, through my own experiences, right? So how much of that though is just so evil? But God's always been there. God's always been right behind me. Always, always. Always. I've always known that God exists, that there was always a good spirit that would come to me after I, had a horrific experience. And let me know. My spirit guides. My spirit guides have always been there. And I gotta say, I didn't really know they were spirit guides until I started my professional um, journey of being a psychic medium. I didn't know. I didn't know. They seem real to me, as real as someone standing next to me talking. I would have these out of nowhere just show up and start talking to me and telling me that I was brave, that I was courageous. Just continue being a good girl and everything will be okay. Because no matter what horrific atrocity perpetrated onto my being has been done, I've never repeated it. No, it was wrong. It was backwards. It was wrong. It's wrong. And I knew right from wrong from a young age. We know right from wrong. We know. We know. But over the course of our lifetime, growing up and being influenced by all these things external of us that surround us, um, we get distracted, we get distorted, and we get confused. But we always have to take it back to the basics, back to the beginning of who we know we are. And we're not that person. I always tell my, I'm not that girl. I don't want to be that girl. I'm not that girl. No, I'm not that woman. I don't want to be that woman. I want to be good. That's why so many things in my life are different for than a lot of people even understand. Like I'm single. I'm single for a reason. I will not be involved in a man of this world. Love ya. Love me more. And that's the whole point. You know, we may think that we're in this simulation. We may think we're not real, but God bless you. Yes, you are. You are very real. And you need to be real careful about who you share your realness with. This is not a simulation. This is not a test. No, but there's some stuff you could get into that you don't want to be messed with. You don't want to. You don't want to go there. Don't be that girl. Don't be that guy. Don't do it. So anyway, I got a 1:15. Got to get ready for. I'm glad that I had a break in my schedule. And again, I'm gonna do it again tomorrow. Tomorrow might be a little earlier actually, because it's a different kind of day every day. But it's always the same day for me, and that's one full of hope, one full of faith. I call myself a modern day survivor, because it's like we're survivors. If you're alive and kicking today and you still have the gumption to get up and go, you're a survivor. And us modern day survivors, we're alive in that faith. We're restoring that hope. We're keeping it going. We have to. Our future generations depend on us. They depend on us. Whether you have children or not, future generations depend on us to get it right. So we don't have to keep repeating the same bullcrap. So anyway, be blessed, be well, and always just be, right? All right, till next time.